Hey guys, welcome to Off the Reservation, a podcast that reminds you to go and visit your neighborhood Denny's and get the Grand Slam breakfast. You know, the one with the 2 eggs, 2 hash browns, a glass of milk, and some orange juice.
Yeah.
I'm
Have
Mal.
yourself a vision.
I'm El.
And I'm the son of Picasso.
Man, I want some breakfast now.
Yeah. For real, like, I mean, I don't know. It's like, what, like noon right now? It's afternoon.
See, but
It's
you could have
afternoon.
breakfast any time of the day.
Yeah. Breakfast is one of those miracle like meal period foods. You know, it's like you can have it late night, early morning, midday.
You can have it anytime.
Yeah.
You can have it anywhere, Sam I am. You can have it in a mouse or in a house with a mouse.
In Taos.
In Taos. A Taos mouse in house. Anyways, I guess what we're going to be talking about today is some of our favorite foods. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
Because I know everybody's just dying to know what I'm eating. You know, it's like, come on, y'all. No, really though.
I mean, you haven't
Come on.
checked out my Pinterest and seen all the pictures I posted of all my gourmet meals.
All your
Spam and
food selfie
eggs.
shots.
All my spam and eggs shots.
Are you a gourmand? Are you a
I'm sorry,
Eater
I
of
don't
finer
speak French.
an eater of fine foods?
Most definitely. Only the finest spam.
Oh, commodity cheese.
Commodity cheese.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so all right. So, what are some like? So, as we get into this, let's talk about a little bit. So, we're the side. Well, I guess we share a lot of sides of our
Family and
our family.
food.
Yeah. But like a big part of it is our Navajo side. And I feel like that's the most accessible, like to
food.
I guess,
I mean,
especially around here,
Yeah, especially living way out here in the Southwest.
Yeah.
We're so far from
because a
Oklahoma.
lot of the other family, is back in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of it's honestly the same. Like it's very similar, you know, but
you know what blew me away is so the other a while back I had we have some family that moved here to Albuquerque from Oklahoma, and they were like, oh yeah, we'll make some fry bread, and I was like, oh sweet, you know, fry bread, it's delicious, it's the best thing ever. And they go and they put it all together, they bring it, and it's like they like had it in a small basket, and I was like, that's weird. And it was like all plump in the middle and everything, and I was like, what kind of fry bread is this? And they end up opening it, and it's little like sopapilla like rolls, and I was like, this isn't fry bread. And they're like, no, this is fry bread, like where we're from, this is what fry bread looks like. And I was like, where's like the beans, where's the meat, where's the lettuce, where's the tomatoes? Like this is not fry bread. And they're like, oh, you can open it up and put it on the inside, that's how we eat it. And I'm like,
you know, that's a stuffed sopapilla. That's a number 3 at Frederico's.
exactly. Yeah, so
Which are still really good. Okay,
I mean,
won't lie.
it's delicious. It was
That's
delicious.
on my list.
But it's not
It
fry bread.
upset me.
Yeah. Well, there's a big debate, right? So on the Navajo reservation, we call it Navajo fried bread or Navajo tacos. you
Navajo
know,
tacos.
is what we call it. But like everywhere else, it's known as like Indian tacos. You know, so there's a debate. It'd be like, well, it's not just Navajos. Navajos aren't the only ones that make those. You know,
Exactly.
I'm like, yeah, that's true, but from where I'm from, and how I grew up, I always called it Navajo tacos.
I always.
Even if I bought it
His
from
mama
a Pueblo.
calls him Clay. I call him Clay. You know.
But no matter where I bought it, I guess if I'm not purchasing it from a Navajo person, I'll refer to it as Indian tacos.
But if you buy
Yeah.
it from a Pueblo person, it's probably called fry bread.
And so if there's any listeners out there that don't know what fry bread is basically flour, baking powder, salt, and water, and it gets mixed up, and then you can actually make you can
Tortillas.
You can make tortillas or naniscada, and then you can also make fry bread, which
Fry
is
bread.
one is just cooked like on a griddle,
oil.
and then the other one is cooked on
In hot oil.
Hot oil, yeah. Which is
Which I think in our family, your mom is considered like the expert in the fry bread department.
yeah. I would say that's probably
I mean, it's fairly accurate.
compared,
I mean,
to the other family members. Yeah, No, she's
Has she passed that on to you?
I've taken my first steps in learning how to make fry bread. So
It's all
yeah,
on the wrist. All in
yeah. Yeah. I'm not there yet. I'm like, I'll use a rolling pin.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Oh,
I ain't gonna get fancy with it,
Yeah, I always see your mom. Your mom always would always have it, and she just flip it around and everything.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, that's cool. I tried doing that once. I dropped it.
Yeah, no,
It's a big old hole in
same
it.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, big old hole in the middle. Well, so here's the hard part, right? So I was learning how to make fry bread. I was like, "Hey, Mom, I need your recipe," And she was like, "Well, I've never written it down, really." It's like, oh, okay. Well, let's. How much flour do you put? Do you think like a cup? She's like, well, yeah, like a cup, and I don't know, maybe a little bit more. And then just kind of a pinch of baking powder, and then a pinch of salt. And I was like,
I do this much, and you're trying to how big
she's
is your
like,
hand?
yeah, no, she's like, yeah, I put about as much as fits in my hand. I'm like, so like,
Oh, you got little hands.
I'm learning that the art of fry bread is just it's just feeling it and knowing it and becoming one with the fry bread in that
One
sense.
with the bowl.
You know what's hilarious?
Well, the dough is the hardest part, man, because first few times I made it, it just came out really dry. And it wasn't fluffy, and I was like, okay. And then then you undersalt it, and it's like, ew, this is no good either. So I'm slowly getting there.
Well, I think where I feel we relate to other people is I've been listening to this YouTuber. His name is he goes by Uncle Roger. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah.
But he reviews fried rice videos and things like that, and so he always talks about how much bits of things that they put in, like the MSG, the salt, the chili powder, whatever else. And he's always like, you don't use measuring cups. You use feeling. You use the feeling of how it is.
Yeah.
And you keep adding it until you can hear your ancestors say, that's enough. And I'm like, that's how I feel. And so now that I've started cooking more, I'm like, oh, I just got to use feeling, just feeling like Uncle Roger told me to.
So, yeah.
Or wait for my ancestors.
Yeah, you could be the native Uncle Roger with the fry bread. Oh no, they're cooking the fry bread all wrong.
They're cooking it all wrong. But you got to do the accent, the Navajo accent.
Yeah.
Like, yada la. They're cooking it all wrong. They're gonna burn it. You never serve the first fry bread. That's how you end up with bad things happen. It's all chindi.
But and then there's a thing of with the oil you use too. That's I know
and you
some
only have to
people
use
that,
the finest bluebird.
Oh yeah. If you're gonna make fried bread, start with Bluebird. That's the flour. That's the brand of flour. And then then you just keep those Bluebird sacks forever and
Forever they
make shirts out of them or aprons and
pants.
I don't know if I've ever seen Bluebird pants, but
Oh, I've seen it.
decked out in my
You
Bluebird
see all
attire.
kinds of stuff at shows.
I got a new line of Bluebird. Did you see that new line they dropped? The Bluebird.
Which is hilarious because you go anywhere with any amount of natives, especially art shows and stuff, you don't even need to see the full thing. You'll recognize the white cloth.
You'll just see
Yeah.
that much of the bluebird.
And you'll be
logo.
Bluebird, that's made from a bluebird sack.
Yeah, you put that on your hat. I see
Put it
that.
on your
All
hat.
right.
Oh, that's nice.
Well done, sir.
I see you made a shirt out of the bag. That tank top, that crop top tank top is very, very I don't know, risky.
So when I was younger, as we go back to talking about Indian tacos, Navajo tacos, whatever you guys are going to call them, basically it's fry bread, and then you get beans, you get some ground beef, and then you get your other toppings, which is lettuce,
Cheese.
tomato, onions, cheese, all that good stuff.
You know what's funny is there's always that one guy, right? You're sitting there and you're at the powwow and you're about to eat your fry bread, right? And whether it's a taco or you just got honey on it or salt and just minimalist, right?
Yeah.
And then right when you're about to eat, the guy walks by and he's like, that's a slave food, don't you? And just ruins your meal. You're like, oh. you know. And then like they keep walking, and you're
Because-
like, you look down at
Yeah,
your fry
yeah.
bread, and you're like, huh.
Yeah, traditionally our
That's
people
okay.
our people didn't have flour. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like we weren't making like, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it's so spanned across like so many tribes. It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
like one tribe, just
Yeah, it
like,
was like we were all given those rations.
yeah.
it was all part of the rationed out flour supply.
But
But
hey, I you know, at this point, you know, I detest the you know, if that's the case, you know, I'm not doing it as a slave. I'm doing it because I like it. Okay,
Do you remember?
because it
on,
makes me feel good.
it fills that fry bread shaped hole in my heart.
Do you remember on Clerks 2, the guy's all eating? He's like, you can't taste the racism.
That's the truth right there, man.
If it's made with love,
But like, so when I was young, my mom used to, what is that called? Like, I mean, she used to cook beans, and then, you know, if we didn't have time, she'd like pressure cook beans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was always like, so the beans, you know, you'd make your beans, and then you'd make your. But then after a while, like, because we were doing it like for like events and stuff, you know,
yeah.
like it turned to like, hey, we don't have time to cook beans. Let's use ranch beans. And I, at some point, I really, really, really just like, I love ranch beans now. Like, it's like, I like the flavor of ranch beans in my Indian taco. And there's some people who are like, whoa, no, you got to make your own beans. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I like the taste of ranch.
I mean,
beans.
you got all the components there. Do you really like how traditional do you want to be? You know, do we got to sing while we do it as well?
So, you know, talking about ingredients, like I remember going to like a fry bread sale, and like you see like all the ladies like put their ingredients on the counter, and like you know, there's like some nice piles of ingredients, and then there's that one lady that has everything like minced perfect, and like the onions are like all uniform, and like the lettuce is all like shredded nice. You know, you're like, that person cares about their fry bread.
Yeah, like I'm gonna buy from that stand. Yeah,
Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah, you know, at some point there's some level of professionalism you want to have.
Yeah.
You know what
Oh,
I mean?
definitely.
While yes, you could throw down at home and not care what, you know. I'm like, look, if you're gonna go sell food at an event, like come with like a nice like top, you know. You know,
Yeah.
don't get the ones where it's just like you had to like buy another tarp and put it on top, you know. And
It's like shredded up.
and then on top of that, you've got like grandma in the back making all the fry bread, and she's like sweating to death. It's like, oh,
But that's how you know it's been made right. That's the thing. Is like,
I'm like, I don't want to make your like you don't make your grandma cook all this.
Like,
fry
there's
bread.
labor laws here, bro.
well, you know what I thought was interesting is like a few years back we had gone to what is it, the Idol George out in California,
Oh no, that's the Autry.
the Autry show, and we were there for like 2 days, and while we were there, they had gotten a food truck, and it was I can't remember the
It
name
was like
of
a
it.
gluten-free,
Yeah,
like bison meat only.
bison meat. Yeah,
Like free range style.
and they use blue corn for the flour, and man, that was like the healthiest I've ever felt eating a fry bread.
Yeah,
man.
and
it was
honestly,
delicious.
it tasted real, like, which was amazing. Like, I don't know, it was pretty good.
It was good.
I
And
fox with it.
I mean, if you guys are out there, if you guys are still driving around in your food truck, contact us because man, I need another one of those. You know, that was good.
Man, I've oftentimes considered getting a food truck, you know, and like you know, just setting up shop at
Like all
the,
Jon Favreau style.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. After
Bob's
Chef,
Burgers?
Yeah, yeah. After I saw Chef, I was like, man, food trucks could be fun.
No, first I need a food truck and a little boy. Call me dad.
Need me a son and a food truck and a
When mine gets old enough,
John
you can.
Leguizamo.
yeah, a John Leguizamo and what's her name? An ex-wife with a friend who has money and a food truck. That's it. That's all I need, and then I can get started. But
Yeah.
like, no, like I was like, man, that would be fun. Like, just because I've worked in kitchens, you know,
Yeah.
I've worked in kitchens over the years in hotels and stuff, and like, you know, you kind of pick up on how like the kitchen culture is. It's fun. It's fun being in the kitchen. And that movie Chef was like totally like, I was like, man, this is just like, man, this would be fun, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it.
You
It's
know?
a lot of work.
Oh,
See,
yeah,
I've
yeah.
never worked in a kitchen. I was a bartender at this bar one time that had a grill attached to it. And like seeing how hard those guys work, like, oh my gosh,
Oh,
like
yeah.
just fried food, just order after order after order.
See, like I watched that Kitchen Nightmares, but I've been watching that Bar Rescue,
Oh, okay.
and I think that ruined me for like
Working in the food service industry.
yeah, because like
Yeah, it ain't easy, man.
like I know it's like difficult. Like I mean, me cooking at home is difficult enough as it is. Like I can't imagine having like a timer set. Like I mean, when I'm making breakfast, it could take me anywhere between like 15 to an hour to try to, if I'm really trying to go extra, you know,
Yeah.
like take some time to get an avocado ready, man. You know, not cut yourself.
Yeah, no, props to the cooks and the chefs out there, man.
Yeah.
You guys are the real ones.
There's
You guys-
actually a lot of Native people that work in the service industry.
Yeah,
it was
that's
a
true.
lot of fun working
Mhm.
with. Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, you can always DM us on Instagram at Off the Reservation Podcast, and maybe we'll answer it in a future episode. Now, on with the show.
They need to have more. There needs to be more native food trucks, I think.
Yeah.
You know, there's like taco trucks all the time, and I think they're like the ones that sell like beef jerky and lemonades and stuff. You know, I was like, man, like people would go crazy for like if you made like a smaller Navajo taco. You know what I mean? With like
You can't make them small. That's just blasphemous.
That's like a faux pas.
I mean, you
but
could
really.
make them oversized, but you know, I don't know. Your food
No.
costs would be through the roof.
Oh, that's
Probably,
true.
yeah.
That's true.
Plus, you're catering to a new generation of people where it's like, hey, look, we can eat really we can eat
non-GMO, grass-fed.
we can eat bad food, saturated in fat and all this, but let's just keep the moderation low. You know what I mean? Like, let's keep it in moderation. I don't know, or it could just be like a cheat day thing. It's like, come on.
Speaking of other native foods, have you guys tried LA Burger or Laguna Burger?
Oh, yeah. No, I have.
It's
Laguna
actually
Burger.
pretty good.
Yeah,
Green
yeah.
chili is really, really good. Green
Yeah,
chili
yeah.
burger.
I gotta try it.
It's pretty good. The first time I ever ate there was at the original one off of the freeway, right?
Yeah.
And like it was back when I was working at a temp agency during the election, like delivering voting machines back when I think Obama was becoming president or like around that term. And the very first time I went there, like this white kid took me in and he was like, hey, you got to try this place, LA Burger. Have you ever been? And I was like, oh, no, let's go. And so we tried the green chili cheeseburgers. And like I was like dripping sweat. It was so hot, right? And he was just sitting there, just all normal, calm, cool, and collective, just like eating away. And I was just like, oh man, I'm gonna get my native card revoked. Sweating this much here.
I so for a long time I couldn't handle green chili, man. Like just chili in general.
Yeah.
Spicy stuff. It just wasn't like I couldn't do it. Like I was like you, man. I'd be sweating like crazy and like couldn't ever couldn't ever get it to cool down in my mouth. And I was like, I stayed away from it for so long. I'm slowly getting into adding the green chili to stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like for here in New Mexico, and this may be a little bit blasphemous when it comes to being New Mexican, but I'm like, I don't need green chili on everything, guys.
I don't either.
You
It's
know?
overplayed here, I think.
Like, there's people that are making like desserts with green chili. I'm like, I don't want a green chili apple pie. I'm sorry. I just don't need that. Let's just bring
That
it back
sounds
a
good.
notch or two. No, Mal, it is not. I don't know. It might be.
It might be.
Yeah.
I gotta try it. Well,
It's
actually,
like we hit you over the head with like green chili. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like
the Christmas.
Yeah.
It's the Christmas thing, and I think like one of the things I was when I was dating this one girl, she took me to a place called Mac's Steak in the Rough on La Sierra,
Mm-hmm.
and that place had some was it green chili chicken enchiladas, and that's what she was like always stood by, and it was like, that's delicious. And I mean, I went over there and I was, up to that point, I hadn't really tried any like green chili. So like you guys may have been eating it like all your life. Like it wasn't until maybe like about 10 years ago that I first started eating green chili.
that's
and
me.
Yeah. Like I fell in love with it.
Really?
Yeah. And so,
Good for you, man.
I mean, if you're interested, but like at the same time, would you consider like green chili enchiladas and like, things that are considered Hispanic food?
would I consider them native food?
Is native food?
No.
Because I mean, I consider like anybody who's Hispanic or of Mexican descent as native as well. Like,
I
I think for the terms of this podcast, or for the context of this discussion that we were having, like,
I want to claim green chili enchiladas as native. I want to claim it.
You just want to plant that native flag in the enchiladas?
Yeah.
Like, that's ours.
Native
Like,
Americans, yes.
we're all one people. Fist in the air. Like, hey,
Y'all gonna have fry bread, and we'll take enchiladas, and we'll just share it all around.
I mean, hey, sopapilla, fry bread. You turn it on its side. Cello.
There's definitely a few more ingredients in sopapillas,
Yeah.
to make them like real airy,
Mm.
and man, I'm thinking about getting a stuffed sopapilla now. Might have to get one on the way home.
Yeah.
You know what? There's never been like a Native American like soft drink that's just like specifically like Native American. You know what I mean?
Coke.
Like
Coke.
besides
Dr.
like all
Pepper.
the knockoff, all the knockoff sodas. Like
I know so many natives that their favorite drink is either Coke or Dr. Pepper. Like Dr. Pepper is like
Dr.
it's a
Pepper's-
joke. You know what I mean? It's a joke because we drink so much Dr. Pepper. And but
You
yeah,
want a
no, I
soda?
mean there's nothing dedicated. You know?
What would that even be?
I don't know.
Like Indian tea soda?
Yeah.
I don't know. We
Flavored
need
like
an
Indian
entrepreneur
tea.
out there to make a drink
Yeah,
specifically.
you native,
Yeah.
you native chefs and cooks,
drink maker.
What
mixologists.
else? Like juniper soda? That might work.
A juniper soda.
Or you might get sick.
Yeah.
Sounds like a stomach ache.
It'll clear you out.
Well, okay. Well, so what other entrees are there in the? I mean, okay. So I'm ashamed to say it. I've never had mutton.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I've had
Yeah.
mutton.
Really?
Okay.
I've had mutton.
I need to like get myself up to like the Shiprock
It's like
You need to
roasted
find a
mutton.
grandma's
flea
It's
market
really good.
and get me some mutton stew.
See, okay, so the time that I had a mutton, it was me and your sister Ashley.
Oh yeah.
We had gone to visit our grandparents up in Shiprock, and our grandmother ended up asking us to take her to one of our other grandmothers, Sarah, and we ended up driving out there, and it was the first like real time like I had spent a good amount of time out that way, and Grandma Sarah was like, "Oh, hey, it's lunchtime. Come on and eat." And so she fed us mutton ribs and blue corn mash. Oh, it was good. And I mean, I've been dying to go back and try to get some more, or at least find out how I can get some more. I'm gonna have to go to the flea market out that way to get me some mutton ribs or something.
You said you had like just gotten your license, right?
Yeah,
So they were
yeah.
like, it was like that age when you just get your license, but all before that, right? People were like, we're not going to let you drive.
Yeah,
you have your
nobody let me
license,
drive anything.
But we're experienced drivers. We'll drive, But
Yeah.
like when you got up there, they're like, hey, Mal, drive us around. So you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then they sent you off with my sister, right? You guys had to go like take some trash to the
Trash
dump.
to the dump, and then we ended up I almost pulled off. Okay, so here's the thing. Grandma's like, hey, we got too much trash, nobody's been able to take it to the dump. I need you to go ahead and drop it off at the dump for me. I was like, okay. And I'm like freaked out because I'm like, I've never really driven a long distance. It was mostly like in our neighborhood, and our neighborhood's pretty small. It's like
Plus,
a mile
when you're on the
round.
res, you're like, I don't know when I'm turning down a regular road or someone's like driveway,
Somebody's driveway.
and like people look at you like you ain't from around here, like we've never seen this car before, it's
Yeah.
weird.
Well, like, so she was like, "Here, you can drive my truck,"
Ah.
and I was like, like the whole idea of like driving something that isn't yours or like owned by your parents is
You're
like,
it's too much responsibility.
And on
It's
top
a
of
lot
that,
of
grandma's truck was like brand new too. Like
yeah. And so like I'm freaked out, and I'm like, Ashley, come with me. So Ashley jumps in, and we start driving away, and Grandma had given me some directions, but they weren't like directions that I was used to. Like, oh, hey, take this straight turn down this street. The name of this street is this street and whatever. It was, all right, you're going to drive down the road that you came in on. You're going to drive down that way. You're going to drive until you get to the intersection there. Not the first intersection, the second one. Then you're going to take a right and you're going to go down that road and you're going to pass this thing, and then it's going to be on your right side. And if you pass the tree with the stump that looks like it's dead, then you're going to need to go ahead. Then you've gone too far. You need to turn around. And you're going to see it up on top of the hill over there, but not the first hill, the second. I'm like, oh, okay.
And you said this, like the landfill, the dump was basically just like it was a big ramp, right?
Yeah, it was a big ramp up to a giant pit. And so like I pull up and the guys that's running it is like, hey, you need to turn around and back up. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, turn around, back up. So jump out, flip around, and I start backing up, and Ashley's outside watching me, and she's like, come on. And that guy's out there, and he's like, all right, come on.
You're
Come on.
real nervous about like
Yeah.
driving over the edge or something.
And I'm freaked out because it's like a straight edge, like just straight down. And so I'm like backing up. And I'm like, okay, this is far enough. And I turn it off, jump out. And I still had like a good 10 feet between me and the back. And that guy's all annoyed. Like,
Whatever.
He's like, you could have backed up further. And I was like, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, see, when you first told me this story about you getting Frybread, you had added the whole like scene going to the dump,
Yeah.
and you were like, yeah, we got out there and everything was good. We got out, we got the trash dumped, and I was like, oh, nice. And I was like, what, did you guys like stop on the way home and get some muttons too? Celebrate your first first driving experience?
A day of first?
Yeah, first day to the dump.
No. But yeah, no, we went to Grandma Sarah's and she fed us. And that was pretty cool.
And that's one thing I wish we had more of, was being able to visit family that,
That have their roots.
Yeah, because we used to do it more when we were younger. We don't do it as much. So
Well, life has gotten more busy, more hectic.
true. Yeah,
And I think that's one of the things that like we tend to struggle with nowadays is being able to spend time with one another. I mean, the three of us are pretty close as it is now because we started doing this. But before that, I mean, we didn't hardly ever really see each other.
no.
Mainly
Yeah,
because
we were all grown with our own.
we have our own families, we have our own jobs and things we're working towards. And I think that's one of the things that I kind of missed as we've gotten older, is because, I mean, what was it? Almost every other weekend we were spending time with each other at somebody's house.
Yeah.
And of course, food would be a part of it,
A huge part of it.
Yeah.
And like it wouldn't be like anything like, oh, we're having a party, but it would be like, if we were all eating together, it would have to be like on a party magnitude to feed that many people.
Yeah. Shoot, man, just going to the park, it was like we had to pull out like we had to bring like 2 grills and like a box of hamburgers from like
like our family could literally eat like 10 chickens.
The quantity like that they sell at like Sam's Club, it had to be like that, just to feed everybody because there were so many people.
Well, traditionally, I mean, like you look at it, like we go to, like if we do have a birthday party and we brought everyone, I mean, pre-COVID, if we all got together, we would need at least like 4 or 5 pizzas from Dion's.
Yeah.
And
I remember for your birthday, everybody came to mom and dad's house and we were cooking chicken legs, or at least I was.
Yeah.
And I remember I started, like, it took me like 2 hours to cook all that chicken for everybody. Like, it was so hot.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
It's just easier buying pizza,
It is.
You guys cool with pizza again?
I'm like, yeah.
Traditional.
Yeah. Or you
Traditional pizza.
have to like start getting stuff catered,
That's how it is.
No, man. But I remember the big family gatherings, and like you said, food was always, we weren't ever ones to let people come and not eat. You know what I mean? Like we were gonna feed everybody. I think that kind of just goes back to, Native tradition in that sense.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you come to my house, I'm gonna feed you.
And it's rude to not eat at least something.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be anything. You just like eat a little bit of something, and I think I that was actually one of the reasons why I liked. There's a movie called Little Big Man, and at one point, they're interned in this camp in was it next to the Washita River or something like that, and he's walking. He's an Anglo man living amongst the Cheyenne. and he walks up to one of his old rivals, and his old rival's like, why don't you come in and I'll feed you and everything. My wife, she's a wonderful cook. She'll cook this duck. And he's like, no, it's okay. And he's like, no, come on. And so like, I feel like that was like, something I could relate to, seeing that in a movie. And like, so if you ever come by, don't worry, we'll try to feed you.
Oh yeah. Native hospitality is like, legendary unto itself,
Yeah. Everyone's family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I've been to your house a few times. You don't offer me food. I know for a fact you don't offer. No, I'm just kidding.
I like to party.
That has been the funnest part about this podcast is you guys coming over, like we all eat, we all hang out, all the kids play. Like it's so much fun.
Well, I mean, even today you fed us stew.
Oh, I know. And I didn't even make that stew. How cool is that? That like stew recipe was passed on from our mom to.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It looked like your parents' stew.
It did.
Traditional stew.
Need to go make me some stew now too. I'm gonna go get me a sopapilla. Cool,
no green
guys.
chili though.
No green chili. All right, guys.
All right.
How you guys feeling?
Yeah,
First
I'm
30.
good.
Shall we go out on the high note? Let's George Costanza this.
Yeah.
Go out
Isn't
on
that
the
also
applause.
called like an Irish goodbye or something like that?
I don't know.
Is it like when you leave and never come back?
That's what Indians do.
They leave and
Don't
they
you
never
know,
come
Victor? When Indians leave, they ever
back.
come back.
Last of Mohicans, the last of the Winnebago.
I showed my wife that movie just the other day because I was like, "Have you ever seen Smoke Signals?" She's like, "No." You always talk about it. We always say we're gonna watch it, but then we don't. I was like, "That's it. Drop everything we're doing. We're buying Smoke Signals and watching it right now."
Shoot.
And then, now she understands all our references.
Well, now you need to go get yourself a sopapilla and go watch Smoke Signals.
Man, I might just go home and make some fry bread.
All right. Well, with that, guys, remember to rate, review, and subscribe. And did I say prescribe again? Prescribe.
Subscribe, guys.
Remember to rate, review, and subscribe. And
Stay tuned for a clip from our next episode.
Yes.
Have a good week. Toilet paper and Dr. Pepper, they're both necessary for survival.
Warm Dr. Pepper.
Currency when it all hits the fan.
Yeah, when the gold standard tanks, Dr. Pepper is going to be...
And you can't trade your NFTs for anything.
Yeah.
You know, how much can this Charmin get me?
We only have a finite amount of toilet paper and Dr. Pepper. This is now our new trading currency.